Okay, what is up, my fellow developers? And in this video, we're going to be using the Mongo DB shell to start learning how to use Mongo DB commands and insert data into our database, see the data in our database, and manipulate it, and so forth and so on. So the first thing you have to do is have it installed, and to do that, all you got to do is type in Google, download Mongo DB shell. You'll come to a page that looks like this, and download it. And once you have that all downloaded, to start running the shell, all you gotta do is type out Mongo sh, and that'll open up the shell. Okay, so the difference between this and the other Mongo database we created is this one, the databases and everything are stored locally, while the other one is stored on a MongoDB server. So to start out, we have to either use a database that is already there or create our own. And let's say you want to use one that you've already created, all you gotta do is type out use and then the name of that database. But the great thing here is if that database doesn't exist and you type out the name of the database, it'll create that for you. So if you're like, oh, I want to use games and it's not there, there you go. It creates it for you. So type out use games and press enter. And as you can see right here, we are switched to games. So the first thing we're going to want to do is create a collection. And the way the MongoDB works is you have the database, and inside the database you have your collections, and inside your collections you have your documents. And a collection is a way we store data and help keep it organized. So you could have one collection for shoes, one collection for shirts, one collection for pants. And if you go to the collection for your shoes and you look at those documents, then that'll give you all the different information on the different shoes you have. You can have one document for your Air Jordans. It'll say the price is this much, the size is this much. And then you can have another document saying you have some Nikes here, they're this much, their size is this big, and so forth and so on. So to create a collection, we also have to insert data at the same time. And it's pretty simple. All you do is type out db dot the name of the collection you want to make. And since this is games, we're just going to call it our games. And then we're going to say insert one. And this will insert a single document into this collection. And if you notice anything kind of funny, this looks like a JSON object, which it kind of is. I won't get too in-depth and technical about it, but this is pretty much a JSON object. So the first thing we're going to want to do is give it a name for this document, and we're going to call this one Call of Duty. Let's give it a price of $75 and a rating of M. So press enter on that, and this will give us a little return statement letting us know that it's true, and it also says insert ID. The great thing about MongoDB is we don't have to specify our own IDs, it'll create it for us. And to see the document we just created, all you do is type out db dot the name of our collection, which is our games, and then dot find. And there we go. So we can also insert multiple documents at one time. So db dot our games dot insert many instead of insert one. And the only difference between this and insert one is all of our data is put inside an array. So let's start out with a name. Let's give it Halo. A price. We'll give it $65. And a rating of M. So our next document, we're going to leave that little set of curly brackets, put a comma after it, and open up another one. Let's give it a name, and this one will be Madden. We're going to give it a price of $30 and a rating of E. And we'll add one more. We'll add Battlefield. So we'll say name is Battlefield We'll give this a price of 60 and a rating of M. Press enter. There we go. We got our acknowledged true. It's telling us it gave it its IDs. And let's just say db.find again to see everything there. So perfect. Everything's the way we want it. Another thing we can do is, with this .find method right here, is find a specific document. So if we want to find a document by name, it's going to look like how we inserted the data. So we're going to say db.rgames.find, open up our curly brackets in here, and say name is equal to Call of Duty. Now, this is case sensitive, so you have to make sure you spell it the same exact way. Otherwise, it won't pop up, which I will show you in a second. Oh, no, you can see it right there. I used a capital D instead of a lowercase, so we didn't get anything back. But we changed that real quick. And there we go. We got our Call of Duty document. Perfect. So let's say we want to change the price on this Call of Duty document. The game's like 50 years old. It's not worth $75 anymore. So Mongo has a specific command for that too. db.rgames.update1. There's also a update many command. And the first thing you got to let MongoDB know is which game or which document we are updating. And we're going to be finding that based off the name. So let's say name, and we're going to say Call of Duty. And then we leave this set of curly brackets. And we're going to use a weird little operator here. It's the set operator. Before that is a little money sign. And then when we put the value, we're going to set another pair of curly brackets there and tell it what we want to update. So we want to update the price, and we're just going to make it 74 because Activision's a greedy company. They don't really want to lose money. They want to make a bunch. So press enter on that, and it's saying, okay, it's updated it. So let's use a db.find the Call of Duty, and there we go. The price is now $74. Perfect. So let's say we want to find specific games based off their price, but we don't want to find a. Let's look at these real quick, just see them. So let's say we want to find a game based on the price. We only have, we'll say $61. So if we're on a budget, we know we're gonna want these two games. So let's say we don't. So to use a query, we're going to say db.rgames, because that's the collection we're going to go in, and we're going to say .find. And here's where stuff is going to get fun. We're going to give it the property we're basing our search off of, which is price. Make sure this is in curly brackets. So we're going to say price. And then the value is going to be another set of curly brackets. And then here we use this $sign. And since we're looking for something less than $61, we're going to use LT. And the value is just going to be that 61. So do that, press enter. And there we go. We got Battlefield and Madden. Those are the only games we can afford. We can also use greater than. And there's a few others like greater than or equal, and less than or equal. We can also find documents based off more than one query. So like let's say we want to find a game less than $71, but more than $35. That should return this Battlefield and Halo. And the way we would do that is, again, we would tell a database we want to go to the R games collection. And we would say .find. And to start it off, in our parentheses, we're going to say $and. This is letting it know that there's going to be multiple parameters in here that we are going to be basing the search off of. So in the value field, remember earlier how I said when we're giving it multiple things to go off of, we want to put it in an array so Mongo knows how to separate our items. So in the value field, start off with an array right here. And then we're going to go back to our curly braces. And we're going to say we want a game with a price, more curly braces. And this game is going to be greater than $31. Put a comma here, and we're going to do the same thing. So we have a price that is now less than 70. What was it? Over here, it's 74. So now I want to return something that is less than $73 just for the sake of it. Press enter. There we go. So to break that down again, we start off with this right here, our main curly brackets. And the first value we are giving it is the and then we're giving that the values of an array. And inside that array, we're first off telling it the first thing we want to find is a price greater than 31, a comma to separate these two, and then we're also looking for a price that is less than 73. Okay, so thanks for watching. That is the basic commands of Mongo DB using the shell. And in the next video, I think we should start using this in our Node application. Feel free to create your own database and play around with these commands and manipulate, update, and do a little more on your own just to make sure you understand it. And if you want to learn more commands and read more about MongoDB, come to the doc. You can come to the docs here in the Mongo shell, which I'll try and remember to put a link to that in the description. And you can look at the commands. This will go even further in depth than I went, and it'll teach you more than I just taught you. It'll make you a professional MongoDB person. So again, thank you for watching. Hope you learned something. Feel free to like and subscribe, and have a great day.